All right, Matt, welcome back. All right, everybody, welcome back. It's season three, like we promised. We got a new logo. Shout out to the Fanatic. This is all him. He designed this logo. We cleaned it up. I think it looks better. I've heard um different reviews already. You know, logo looks better. It's gonna be a better season. Season three, going nonstop. Hopefully, we can get around 42. That was kind of ridiculous. We had 42 episodes last season. That's 42 weeks we were doing this stuff last season. So who knows?
We have no life, I
Yeah, I
think.
mean,
We had
honestly, that's
42.
kind of, maybe says a little bit more about us. But anyway, we're back. We're excited. Should be a good one. You know, lots more social media stuff, right, Matt? We're both going to be kind of working on this stuff. A little bit more shorts, get our stuff out there a little bit, and we'll see how it goes. But we just want you guys to know, we're not going to be like the big clickbaity headline. Like, we're not going to say things we don't believe in just to get clicks. This podcast, like it says right below here, it's for the love of
For the
sports.
love of
For the
sports.
love of sports. We're not no like, I don't want to call out first take or dispute it or anything, but we're here just to give our honest opinions on stuff, and you will always get that from us. So don't worry, we will not sell out and ever become like say stuff for clicks and stuff, right, Matt? So without further ado, yeah, let's get into it. Summer break, real fast. I guess we didn't do a ton. We worked on some behind the scenes stuff, working on our name. Hopefully hear back from that soon officially. Um, and then yeah, just some creative stuff. You were working, finished the logo and stuff, but it was a good little hiatus. Just got back from Kauai birthday trip, so I'm pretty much refreshed, ready to go. It's coming to that peak time of the year for sports, right? We got playoff baseball coming up. College football is coming up this week. We're going to talk to Hunter about UH later on in the pod. And pro football, then it's basketball, and then, you know, really the best time of the year for sports fans. So, good to be back. Um yeah, I'm ready.
First off, I don't want to mention MLB playoffs right now.
Oh, sorry.
Just
Yeah,
not I'm not
sensitive
gonna throw
subject
that out. Yeah. Sensitive subject right now.
for some,
Just throwing
for
that out
some.
there.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, let's get into it. We're back, season three, and it only seems fitting that we talk about the Cowboys right off the bat, right? If you follow the show at all, you know who the fanatic is, and you know what his teams are. One of them being the Cowboys. We them boys. At least he's gonna go all in with Cowboys stuff, guys. I'm telling you, because the Yankees are struggling. It's going to be a lot of Cowboys for Matt. So, Matt, you know, preseason right now, I know you've been following real close. You've been following your boy Cooper Cup, sending me pictures of him on TV. I don't need to see that stuff, Matt.
Hold
Come
on.
on.
You just said Cooper Cup. Don't
Oh, sorry. I'm
disrespect
sorry.
my
I'm sorry.
guy
Cooper
like
Rush.
that.
Cooper Rush. I
Don't
had Cooper Cup in my
disrespect
head.
my
I'm
guy like
sorry.
that.
You're right. You're right. Cooper Rush. How could I? How dare? How dare I? Um, but yeah, sending me Cooper Rush stuff. It's preseason. I get it. But how's it looking, Matt? How's it looking out of
Well,
Cowboys camp?
I'm pretty encouraged. We're 0-2 in the preseason, but to me that means nothing. But I'm really focusing on the young players during this preseason camp, time frame. And there's a couple guys that stood out, and with one of them being, unfortunately, um, DeMarvion Overshawn, who was our rookie linebacker this year, was absolutely tearing it up in Oxnard in training camp. Played the first preseason game. He was flying all over the field. He looked like Micah Parsons in terms of his ability to just have a net, what do you call it, a nose for the ball. He was just around everything. And to get him in the third round, I was like, man, this guy is athletic. Played at Texas, so, very creditable football program. But, in typical Cowboys fashion, everything comes crashing down. We get the news that he tore his ACL um, in the first drive against Seattle in their last preseason game. So that's the huge blow for me. But I was really encouraged, with what he has. So I'm just praying that he can come back from this ACL injury, hopefully by the start of next season, if not middle of next season, and just get back into it because he was looking pretty promising. But that's a huge blow for us. But sticking on the defensive side, everybody's going to talk about the first round picks for their respective teams. And, I got to say, Mozzie Smith being our first round pick this year, I wasn't thrilled because when we talked about the draft in season 2, I was torn because we could have had Dalton Kincaid, who I was really high on. Saw a lot of film of him at Utah with him being in the Pac-12, just shredding Oregon every single time. And we lost the chance to get him, and we had to pivot. Obviously, we're building up that defense, but we chose Mozzie Smith, who, yes, had a decent grade, but I thought Dallas reached for him in the draft, and right now it's looking like they did reach for him in the draft because I'm not really seeing, the fundamentals for him. He's not, clogging the run lanes. He's not taking the right gaps, to cut off uh, with the run game, especially against Seattle last week. It was not a good showing for him, but he is a rookie. Trying to give him a pass there, but so far I'm not too encouraged right now. And with this team being a Super Bowl ready team, I don't want a guy that's going to be better or be good in year 2 and especially year 3. I need a guy who's going to be an impact player. I don't need him to be Micah Parsons. That's his job. We got lucky with him. I just need him to be a quality contributor. And right now, it's hard to see um, him being a significant piece to this, you could say, core defense that we have. But it is 2 games under his belt. He's got one more preseason game, and then it's time to really step it up on September 10th. But Mozzie, not a good start, but the rookie that's probably going to be the steal of the year, and maybe, dare I say, my offensive rookie of the year pick, Deuce is Loose Vaughn, the
What?
little 5.
Rookie
Deuce
of the
Vaughn.
year? You got
Yeah,
Tony.
yeah. Why can't we have both?
Okay, you're right. You're right.
Hey,
I'll let you go.
they said Tony Pollard, they're not gonna just workhorse him into the ground. I respectfully disagree, but they're not gonna workhorse him to the ground. So that means there's gonna be some carries or touches for other running backs. And who would be better than Deuce Vaughn? This guy, he literally reminds me of Darren Sproles. That's
Yeah,
like his floor.
he
That's his
does.
floor. That's his
Floor.
floor. Floor. Not ceiling, floor.
This is why you're the fanatic.
Floor. If used properly, this guy, he could be like McCaffrey and Eckler. He could be at that level if used properly. But at the worst, he could be a Darren Sproles type, passing running back, just going to catch passes out of the backfield, occasional touches in the ground game. But the agility is just ridiculous. Nobody can tackle this guy. And maybe because he's just so small that he's hiding behind the lineman, but every time he touches the ball, I'm like, okay, I'm on the edge of my seat. I don't really care about the preseason too much, but when he gets the ball, I kind of pay attention a little bit. And he scored 2 touchdowns in 2 preseason games. I know it doesn't really mean anything, but the explosion, man, I think this is the steal of the draft. Maybe I'm a victim of Skip Bayless too, but I agree with what he's saying. I think he definitely would have been a higher pick if he was taller, bigger, had more weight. He would have been a first round pick. He would have been like Bijan if he was bigger, to put it that way. So Deuce Vaughn, this guy, he's important because speaking of quarterback, um, you know, Dak Prescott is not playing this preseason, and in my opinion, he should be playing because he needs practice. He's not at that level to just throw in the fire week one. But there's a guy who's been starting the preseason games, these first two preseason games, and I just see an offense with the second unit. Think about this. Dallas is playing with their second unit, and they've played against two first team defenses. And number 10 at quarterback has been outstanding. And against Seattle, he had a huge, nice touchdown pass, just threw it in the flat, quick reads, just so decisive with the ball. And that's just what I want to see, in these preseason games. We don't need wins and losses. We need to see improvement. We need to see flashes. And Cooper Rush just never fails to show flashes of why he should be the starting quarterback of this team. But that gives me hope because in the case Dak goes down for injury or whatever the case may be, the season is not lost with Cooper Rush at the helm at quarterback doing his things. So overall, minus the injury, I'm going to be really positive. I like what I'm seeing. The guys are really getting into it, with each other, butting heads in practice, which is what I like to see. The intensity's there. So, yeah, I'm ready. We got one more preseason game, and then it's the real deal.
All right. Well, I do like what I've seen from Deuce Vaughn so far. Darren Sproles is like borderline Hall of Fame. So I don't know how you're gonna say that's the floor. He's like, because he was electric.
Right.
So I'm not gonna go say. I mean, equivalent is cool. You're saying he's Darren Sproles bare minimum? Come on, come on. It's okay.
Well,
Here's also what I was
McCaffrey's
gonna.
better than Sproles,
Okay, you're
I'm
right. You're
saying.
right. You're right. But here's all what I'm also gonna say. Okay, because I listened to you last year when you were talking about the Cowboys preseason stuff. All this stuff. I see. I don't even remember his name anymore. There was a wide receiver you were high on last year in the preseason. I'm trying to remember his name. Um, Turpin, Cavante Turpin, right? He was running back, you know, touchdowns and doing all this stuff. He was okay in the regular season, I thought.
No, they just didn't use him properly. He's a
Okay,
Pro
that's what it.
Bowler. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And and McCarthy is actually using him as wide receiver, at least in the preseason. So I'm hoping that translates. But Kellen Moore
Okay,
did not use him at all. That's what pissed me off. Only was a return man. But
okay.
with a guy that explosive, you got to just get him the ball.
Yeah, because he was great as a returner. But I was like, okay, maybe maybe we'll see some stuff offensively. But so I'm gonna temper my
That's
expectations
coaching. That's
on Mr.
coaching.
Vaughn. Okay, okay. Uh, I'll believe you for now, but you know I'll wait till I see it from Mr. Vaughn. But I love the little guy story, obviously, because I mean, I'm a little guy compared to the rest of the NFL. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, let me move on real quick here. We got some Dolphin stuff. So, off season been a little rough. Um, Jalen Ramsey nicked up. Not gonna have him till maybe it sounds like December. Kind of a big blow there. Luckily we do have a little bit of depth at quarter. Um, Unfortunately, now Xavier Howard is being accused of some stuff off the field. Uh, that's not a great look. Tyreek Hill also battling, I think, something off the field as well. Uh, Not a great look. But if
And
those
Eli Apple
guys,
on the field.
yeah, and we got Eli Apple. So, we were flaming Eli Apple pretty hard last season. And so it's kind of like one of those, Pat Bev joins the Lakers type of things where it's like, okay, you know, Russell Westbrook joins the Lakers type thing. Okay, well, we'll see how it works out. Um, Other two didn't, not leaving me so optimistic for this one, but I digress. We'll see how it goes. A lot of hype around this Dolphins team right now. A lot of people have them in their top 10. Just you look at the talent on the roster, the speed. You got to watch out for this guy, Matt. Devin A Chain, I believe is his name. He's our
The
rookie
rookie.
running back. he looks explosive. And preseason, like you said, hard to really get a feel of what guys can produce. But when I see him, it like the eye test, he is electric with the ball in his hands. Like I'm talking similar. Okay, we have preseason, but similar to like a Chris Johnson type of burst. When he gets the ball and he hits the hole, it is it is like Chris Johnson esque. I'm not saying he's Chris Johnson,
Chris
obviously.
Johnson was probably one of the fastest, if not fastest, running
Yeah,
backs.
yeah,
Just
and I
putting it out
just
there.
wait. Yes, I know, and I know how ludicrous it sounds, but just from what I've been seeing so far, it's been two preseason games. But Matt, remember that name because I think his role will evolve as the season goes on. I know we have Mostert right now, but I think he will have a big role in this Dolphins offense as the year progresses. So watch out for him. Teron Armstead, he got kind of hurt too. Hopefully he's okay because we really didn't upgrade the line. That was the one thing the Dolphins didn't really address this year. Connor Williams still at center. So, the line is going to be a little bit of an issue, I think. Good news. Tua did take a hit the other game and he didn't fall on his head. So I guess all the jujitsu training, whatever kind of training he was doing, yeah, exactly, worked because as we saw obviously last year, Tua takes a hit, his head hits the ground. Now after he's taking hits, he's transferring the weight properly, um, keeping his chin tucked, and he was able to keep his head off the ground. So hopefully we can continue to see that throughout the year, and he stays healthy because right now the whole season is kind of lying on Tua, right? We saw what Skylar Thompson could do. Mike White, obviously a solid backup, kind of the cult hero, Mike White. But I think similar, maybe a little bit of an upgrade from Teddy last year, but we're really gonna need Tua in this offense for it to click. Um, it's funny, first preseason game, he came out, his first play throws a pick, and it's like, oh,
That
here
was a
comes
bad read.
just a bad read. He admitted it after the game, was not a good look. Um, there was really nothing there. Just try to force something. It's preseason though. I mean, I'm not gonna get too high or too low on anyone, really. Um, but yeah, we'll do a little bit more of a preview next week, I think, as we get closer to the season, right? But yeah, definitely high expectations now. They're in a tough division where I think the Jets are one of the Super Bowl favorites now with Aaron Rodgers. The Bills already were one of the Super Bowl favorites. Miami's kind of slipping in the ranks a little bit, but a lot of people are still they're not quite sleeping on Miami anymore. It's we saw what the offense could do with Tua. We got Vic Fangio, which I will get to a little bit more next week. Defense looks a lot more confident. Guys flying around, confusing people in these preseason games. So yeah, I'm excited. But Devin A. Chain, Matt, remember that one because I think
Okay,
he's gonna be
I'll
good.
consider him in a fantasy draft,
Yeah,
maybe our
maybe.
league.
Yeah. Um, and then yeah, last big news kind of that just broke today. So the Indianapolis Colts gave Jonathan Taylor permission to seek a trade. Interesting. I'm not sure exactly what prompted that because it sounded like Jim Irsay really wanted to keep JT around and was confident that JT would be playing with for the Colts this season. Not sure what happened, but now he's allowed to go look for a trade. And from the things I've heard about Jonathan Taylor, I think they had the Colts were on Hard Knocks, right? Last season.
Last season.
And
Yeah.
all the good things like he's the hardest worker, he's this and that, he cares about his teammates. So I'm not really sure what exactly went down contract wise, but yeah, I think a little bit more valuable than Dalvin Cook. So I'm looking, I think, the Colts should get a decent haul if they do end up trading him. And one of those teams right there on the list is Miami. Um, they were looking at him. I wouldn't be surprised to see Mr. Greer make an offer because, seems like we're all in. Miami's all in. So, Jonathan Taylor, Tua, Tyreek, Jalen Waddle. That's a star-studded offense right there. So, I hope they don't give up too much though. But I don't know, Matt. Would you trade a first for Jonathan Taylor?
Nope.
I don't think I could do it.
Not a running back. Not a running back.
Who
Well,
already
they
kind
said,
of
didn't they say they could get something doesn't have to be a first round pick, but it's something like equivalent of value. So maybe like
yeah.
a second and a third, maybe. I don't know. Definitely not a first though.
The only thing that bothers me about trading for JT is he already is banged up
He got a
all of
lot of
last
mileage.
season.
Yep.
So it's
Yep.
just and I think next week maybe we'll talk about the whole running back situation throughout the league, contract wise. But it's tough to be a running back nowadays. It really is. I think, running back contracts should be kind of front loaded nowadays. If you're going to be a high rookie pick, like Bijan Robinson, for example, I think he has a pretty big contract, actually.
I think he
Um,
has the biggest contract this year for a running back, which is
yeah.
crazy. He hasn't even played a snap yet.
hmm Which it is crazy, but maybe, that kind of is the way to go. Because we've seen the Zeke deal and how that panned out, right? Kind of honestly hurt the rest of the running back market, I think, for how everything played out there. So I think teams are going to be hesitant to pay running backs now. But yeah, I want to get to that next week. Matt, I definitely want to give you time for this. So we'll transition out of football. And I don't know how much Yankees we're going to talk after this episode, but I'm going to give you the floor. I know it's been tough. You've had all summer to think about it. Why don't you give us your, I guess, Yankees? How are you feeling right now, Matt?
Horrible. We're dead last in the division. We're 9 games out of a playoff spot. So the season is over. Season's over. We're on a 8 game losing streak, our longest losing streak since the 90s. We just got swept by the Braves, and we got swept at home by the Red Sox, which is embarrassing. It's just that just sums up the season to me. We're mediocre. Outside of Judge, we're nothing. And with the season being over, at least there was some good news today in the fact that they're calling up one of their top prospects, Everson Pereira, and recalling Oswald Peraza from AAA. So they're going to give these young kids a chance to play every day, which is honestly the only right move that they can do right now because the season's over. I want to see what these young kids have so we can build for next season if we even have a shot next year to compete. Um, but it's frustrating, and I was always going back on it. Is it Boone? Is it Cashman? Whose fault is it? And I kind of came to the reason that as much as I don't like Boone, um, he definitely has some questionable decision making. I don't agree with a lot of things that he does, but I feel like they could win in spite of him. They definitely could. He's not the worst manager in the world, but he's not no Joe Torre or heck, he's not even no Joe Girardi. But the real problem with this is the roster. And if you're giving Aaron Boone guys like Billy McKinney, Jake Bowers, this is your everyday players that you got to roll out. IKF is one of your best players on the team,
That's
batting
crazy.
leadoff.
That's crazy.
Like
He's actually
as
one of
much as
their
I
best
love,
hitters.
like that's crazy to me. Like he's that's just terrible roster construction. And Boone, I get the insight from Talking Yanks when they interview him. There's no conversation with him and Cashman and the front office. It was only recently they decided, oh yeah, we're gonna call up the young kids, but Okay, you met one time in the past how many months in depth to have discussions like that? Like there was nothing for the trade deadline. Boone didn't know anything. Like you wouldn't you kind of give your manager a heads up? Oh, hey, like we're thinking about buying, we're thinking about selling. You know, this guy's in a trade talk right now. Maybe you should sit him this game, so we can try to work out a deal. There's nothing. Boone knows nothing. And it's just terrible communication from Cashman. And he needs to go. Brian Cashman needs to go. The fans are frustrated. Uh, he's run his course already. And I would say he's done a lot of great things, but looking back on it, Cashman didn't draft Cheater. He didn't draft any of those guys. He did sign maybe A-Rod, but that was kind of, George Steinbrenner was running the show. But he passed away. We got his lame son running the team now as the owner. He doesn't want to spend the dime now and go over the luxury tax, even though that's kind of what it takes to win now. You got to spend wisely, not recklessly, like how the Yankees have been doing. And, speaking of spending recklessly, I wanted to talk about this because I think the problem starts with Brian Cashman. Cashman is the problem. He needs to go. He's done so many bad things, you know, that it's just time to go. And I've kind of thought about some of the trades that he's made and tried to consolidate it into what I think has really tanked this team. And I'm gonna go based off of the quote unquote baby bomber era. So that's like, when Judge was coming up, Gary Sanchez, that core.
All those guys, yeah.
Yeah, like that core. So like 2016, that was the kind of start of it. The Yankees were in a similar situation to this year. They were mediocre. They decided to sell at the deadline, which is good because they picked the direction to go into. They sold. They traded away all their veterans, Beltran, Brian McCann. They traded Chapman away to the Cubs that year, who won the World Series. We ended up getting Gleyber Torres in that trade. So I think that's a win-win for both teams right there. You traded Andrew Miller, a dominant reliever at the time, had a big contract. You got prospects back for him. So that was kind of the start of the baby bomber era. Then you bring up Aaron Judge, Tyler Austin, Gary Sanchez gets more run. And, Judge, didn't really do that well, but, it was his first crack in the majors. Let's just see what he's got. So I credit them for doing that. But over that time spent after that, it's just been disaster. Even this year, the trade, this is like my fifth worst trade, you could say. But this year, they trade for Keen Middleton and Spencer Howard. No offense to those guys. They're great people, I'm sure. But that trade was so unnecessary. Like, you're all in, but yeah, I'm going to go sign those guys. Like, BFD. Like, what does that do to elevate this team over the Red Sox, the Mariners, the Blue Jays? That doesn't do anything. You need an impact player when you're mediocre. It's not like we're the Braves, the Dodgers, the Rangers. You could say, teams at the top of the division, they know they're going to be in the playoffs. You just want to tweak a little things, add a little depth. That kind of move is acceptable for a team, but not when you're struggling on the border of mediocrity. You need to get over the hump. And we didn't do that. I said we should have sold. Look at us now. I mean, I feel like, Fan and the Fanatic are kind of saying a lot of things, right? Things we should, people should be listening to us more. Brian
Probably.
Cashman, especially. But, I'm just going to leave it at that. But that's a terrible trade. I was going to say Lance Lynn, but that was kind of mean. But yeah, whatever. But Joey Gallo was another one. Like you bring in a guy, high strikeout, just didn't fit. He just didn't fit. And even when they traded for Gallo that year in 2021, it wasn't like, oh my God, they got Joey Gallo. Like, we're gonna be good now. It wasn't that trade that year. It was when they got Rizzo as well. That was like, okay, there's something going on here. I kind of like that, but it wasn't the Gallo trade specifically. And then look how that turned out. It was a nightmare. Frankie Montas probably was another one for me, just terrible. A lose lose for both teams. He just was a disaster. Hasn't even played, so I can't even say he did anything. But your best availability is your availability. So if you're not available to your team, you're a bust. So I'm sorry, Frankie Montas. That was a terrible trade. We could have got Luis Castillo instead, but you were too cheap to trade Peraza, and you don't even play him this year. So what the hell is that? So that's another dumb trade. Then one of the dumbest ones ever, Josh Donaldson. Yeah, let me just go trade for an aging guy who has a lot of injury history. First off, has a rivalry with the Yankees and Garrett Cole, so that's already toxic environment in the locker room. And to make things worse, he's making what 25 million a year. Like you just handicapped yourself with an aging superstar out of his prime already. No need for that. And then probably the worst one to me, even though he's produced the most out of the names that I've mentioned so far, the Giancarlo Stanton trade to me was the trade that just put the baby bomber era of like back down to earth. We were on the rise, and then what do? We signed Stanton, who at the time I was saying this guy is just like Judge. And at the time, Judge was striking out a lot, had a high average, but he strikes out a lot. Home run hitter. Do we really need two guys that play the same style of baseball? And a guy who's going to be a DH? Like, I don't want a guy on my team clogging up the DH spot unless it's David Ortiz, Shohei Ohtani, or something like that. I need production like that. If not, I don't want a permanent DH. And the contract was bad. You could have been patient. We could have got Bryce Harper. Oh my goodness. If Bryce Harper was a Yankee, he would have been my favorite player, probably. Bryce Harper. We could have got Machado. He wanted to come to the East Coast, but no. Stanton contract, it handicapped us. And it's still handicapping us. It's going to handicap us forever, honestly, at this rate. So many moves that Brian Cashman has just run this team into the ground. It's time to go. It's time to go. So I'm sorry for taking up a lot of time, but I had to get that out there. Brian Cashman needs to go. It's been a rough 3 months so far this season. So yeah, at least the kids are coming up. So that's something I got to look forward to this next month and a half.
It's okay, Matt. I know it's been frustrating for you. I really don't need to get too much into it. I can always talk about it next week. But yeah, I just feel bad for you because we had so much hope at the beginning of the season, right? Dodgers, Yankees, as we always talk about. But yeah, sorry, but I don't know if it's happening. Um, I it honestly just being on getting to talk to you just gives me even more appreciation for Andrew Friedman. Like honestly, some of the moves I was questioning, Lance Lynn didn't look great in Chicago. Joe Kelly was struggling. But I don't know, leave it to the Dodgers, org somehow, turnaround guys. Whiffed on the Syndergaard one, I'll admit. But Lance Lynn has been outstanding since he's been a Dodger. Joe Kelly has been outstanding. I mean, he's on the IL now, but he had been. I don't know if he maybe allowed one run in all his appearances. We got a guy Ryan Brazier, I believe, from the Red Sox, had a 7 something ERA, all the way down to in the 1 somethings. Ryan Yarbrough has been pitching well for us. Um, I mean, really can't complain. You know, is it no? What's his name?
Ahmed Rosario.
Ahmed Rosario, like he's hit what like 3 home runs, same amount as he hit in when he was in Cleveland. That has also, I believe, boosted the play of Miguel Rojas because now there's a little bit of competition there, and he's been playing better. I really just can't complain. We just made all the right moves at the right times, and something about the Dodgers, but yeah, I mean, 11 game win streak finally got snapped, but we won again. So it's looking good for me. Sorry, Matt. Uh, at least one of us has baseball to talk about, I guess, this postseason. So yeah, you know what? We got time to talk about my Dodgers, but I want to get to a new segment, and I still don't know what I'm gonna call this. But for now, I'm gonna call it uh the state of the 808, right? So I'm basically gonna just check in with a bunch of Hawaii athletes or athletes affiliated with Hawaii. Um, gonna do a real quick run through here. First time I'm doing this, so this weekend, August 25th, Max Holloway is back in the octagon, so he's gonna be fighting the Korean Zombie. Everyone, go check that out. Max is a heavy favorite. Could be maybe the Zombies retirement fight, but we'll just have to see. I'm confident in Max. Obviously gonna be cheering for him. Seems like he's focused, seems like he's hungry. So not worried. Yeah, gonna be looking forward to that one. He should come out victorious, barring anything crazy. It is UFC, so anything can happen. But hopefully everything goes according to schedule and he comes out with the win there. Um, you know, Going to touch on another Hawaii quarterback, Marcus Mariota, now with the Eagles. Um, had a couple preseason games. He hasn't looked great, unfortunately, but it is a preseason. Kind of hard to say. He's not going to be playing in the regular season unless Jalen Hurts, gets banged up or anything. But yeah, hopefully he gets some playing time in this last preseason game. Kind of shows the Eagles fans that he can still play if needed. So I know you don't really care as much, but yeah, for me, hopefully
Hey,
Marcus
as
does
long as he
well.
keeps throwing those interceptions, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, so hopefully he cleans it up a little bit, and kind of makes Eagles fans feel a little bit better about signing him. Uh, Speaking of the Dodgers too, Colton Wong signed a minor league deal with the Dodgers. I don't even know if you knew that, Matt.
Oh, really? I did
But
not know
yeah,
that.
he so the Dodgers signed Colton to a minor league deal. Hopefully, Dodgers work their magic with signing in these underperforming vets. And we get to see Colton in blue, maybe even this postseason. The expanded roster. That'd be cool. I would jump on that Colton Wong Dodgers jersey for sure. That'd be a great jersey for me to have. So yeah, hopefully, Colton does well in the next month or so. Kind of shows he still got it. Um, but yeah, that was an interesting signing. Um, and then last one I kind of wanted to get to Nick Herbig out of Wisconsin. He's from Kauai. Actually, is a good friend of one of our friends, Eli. Grew up with Eli. I don't know if you knew that, Matt, but they're like family friends back from Kauai. So, but he has been impressing in the Steelers preseason games. A lot of people comparing him to a mini TJ Watt. They're calling him like the baby TJ Watt, which is, I mean, high praise. I think he's averaging like a sack a game at least. I think he has like 2.5 sacks already in preseason. Looks really impressive. Um, so yeah, just another Hawaii boy playing well. And I mean, Nate is also on the Steelers, so it's the Herbig brothers on the
Hmm.
Steelers. So I mean, even perfect because you know how many Steelers fans are in Hawaii, right? So even better. But yeah, if he could get playing time in on that Steelers defense under Mike Tomlin, man, that's more than you could
Scary.
ask for. Yeah. So
And it's TJ too. TJ's gonna get all the attention.
exactly. So who knows? Maybe we'll see Nick making some plays next to TJ Watt. That'd be great to see. Um, okay, well that'll wrap up my first state of the 808. Working on the name, but I'm gonna call it that for now. Uh, yeah. So we're gonna get into our interview with Hunter, talk a lot of UH football stuff. What to expect, kind of this upcoming season. It was a good talk, as it always is with Hunter. So yeah, we will get to that. But we'll take a little break and we'll see you on the other side.
All right. With UH football starting up this Saturday, and with this being the first episode of the new season, I think it was only fitting that we bring on our UH athletics analyst, right? So, Hunter, welcome back to the pod, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I think Greg and I were talking on our last episode of the season of season two. We were like, I wonder who was on the show the most. And now with you being on this show, I feel like you might have the lead
Really?
over
Wow.
Jay. It's between you, Jaden, surprisingly, and Logan. You guys are definitely our top three, and I don't know. You definitely have. Well, you have the edge in season 3, so you got
Yeah,
that
well,
count going.
Hawaii sports is almost year round. So yeah, that's good.
Yeah. All right. Well, we don't have a lot of time here because of our Zoom account, but let's get right into our discussion. So, as I mentioned, UH football kicks off their season on Saturday. I know you must be excited. Must have a lot of expectations this year, at least for all of us, I would say. But let's talk about uh, really the two big, you could say, people involved in the UH football program, and let's start with the coach. So Timmy Chang entering year number 2 as head coach. I want to take it back to last year and transition to this year. So, what would you say Timmy Chang's grade was last year? And then the second part of the question would be, what do you expect differently for him this year going forward with, schemes, just bringing the team more together? Like, what do you expect to be the huge difference this year going into year 2 for Timmy?
Yeah, that's a good question. So Timmy Chang, year one, I mean, he couldn't really do much with the players that he had or had remaining on the team still after the mass exodus from the Todd Graham era. But if I were to give Timmy Chang a grade on year one, I mean, with what he had, what he did, I would say average C, a C grade. Um, of course, we weren't expecting much from um, the team and from the new coaches as well. Obviously, 3 win season, not the greatest. We did pull out some wins, but again, it wasn't against very good teams. But I thought in the latter half of the season, Timmy found a way to start scoring points, and the first 4 games were ugly. But I give props to Timmy and the coaching staff for turning around the second half of the season, started scoring points, started winning some games, which eventually will build up to during the off season and coming into year 2, in which will be hopefully a more revitalized, more of a up tempo offense in the run and shoot, especially with the passing. And now that Timmy Chang will be calling the plays for the offense this year, I'm hoping to expect some, more scoring, more high flying offense, things that we have seen in the past that made Hawaii football exciting. It's looking forward to hopefully seeing some of those schemes and play calling in the future. So yeah, week 0 is upon us. Finally, it feels like it's been a long time, but we made it, and I think that's one thing we're looking forward to. Or I'm looking forward to in particular is how the offense will look. I know offense last year was not the greatest, considering they're still figuring out what they're going to do with their offense and their identity. But with the run and shoot now fully officially implemented, and Timmy calling the plays, I think we're in for hopefully a treat for the 2023 season.
I know, yeah, one thing that, at least for Timmy's perspective, I think, Greg, you talked about this too, right? In terms of just the locker room compared to Todd Graham, you felt like he did a pretty good job last year, kind of just bringing the team together and this really trying to really get that brotherhood, installed. So I don't know. Do you think that that's a good start for him? Like, what are you thinking for Timmy in year
Well,
2?
I mean, definitely expectations, I think, are a little bit higher this year. I know we talked last year going into the season, we didn't really have a ton of expectations for on the field stuff. Just because taking over a program, he's a first time head coach, it was going to be tough. We don't even have the real stadium yet. I mean, we still don't have a real stadium, right? So it's good. It's a tough environment to jump headfirst into. I remember last year talking about I kind of wish that they had hired, either June Jones or someone and let Timmy kind of wait in the wings for 2 years, 3 years, maybe, just so he can get the grasp of the program. But yeah, I did like what he did, more so inside of the locker room, where it seemed like a lot of the players were buying in to the system, and that's really all you can ask for in a first year head coach. Hopefully they did enough recruiting this offseason. Hunter, I know you're more of the expert on that stuff, so I'll defer to you. But I'm excited. I'm definitely expecting a little bit more wins and just more excitement, like we were talking about, right? Especially on offense. Definitely looking forward to the run and shoot coming back. So yeah, man. I mean, I'm stoked. I got my UH gear now. I'm ready for games to start. But yeah, let's go.
All right, Timmy Chang, you hear that? Big things coming in year two for you. So we're gonna hold you accountable for that. But other than Timmy, I said there was going to be two people or two things that we'd be talking about specifically. So the head coach is one. The second is always, everyone's biggest question mark: who's going to be the quarterback and who's the guy that's going to take us to the promised land? And last year was kind of a mess, to be honest, I would say, at least from the start of the year. And then at the end of the season, we kind of got to see Schager kind of take the lead in the quarterback competition. So I'm assuming that Schager will be QB1 on Saturday. But I want to hear your guys' take on this competition because I feel like it's still open to some degree. So we'll have Hunter go first, but what do you guys think of the quarterback situation right now? Do you think Schager has the job this entire season, or is there somebody that we don't know that's just waiting in the wings?
Yeah, I think the QB situation is the biggest question mark, or not the biggest question mark, but it's the biggest position that needs to be fulfilled successfully for the season to be successful. And Brayden Schager will be the QB1 come uh, against Vanderbilt. I think they released the depth chart earlier today, and they had Schager as QB1 and Jake Farrell as QB2. Um, I know I heard there was competition in the off season and even in the spring camps, um, or the fall camps, excuse me, for competition for QB1. But it will be Brandon Shager's game. He has the ball on his hands, and we're really hoping just a big improvement from last year. I know, Matt, like you mentioned, Shager at the end, like the last 3 games of the season, he started to pick up the rhythm and dominated himself in the front as a front runner for the position. And so I think Schager will need to have a huge season or a much improved season in order for Hawaii to be, at least competitive this year.
All right, Mr. Fan. I know you have an opinion on quarterbacks all the time, so give us your
Well, I
thoughts on
mean,
Schager.
He had kind of an up and down season last year, right? Obviously, turned it on a little bit at the end, but for me, I just really want to see how he's going to operate in this new system. Obviously, I think he's the most comfortable with Timmy, and I think that's good moving forward. He should. I think he deserves to have a little bit of a leash. Like it's not one of these like, oh, you have a bad game, first game in the system. All right, we're yanking him again because it was kind of that inconsistency at starting quarterback that really frustrated me. In the previous seasons when we're going, is it Yellen? Is it Schager? Like, neither guy can really get a rhythm. So I would like to see, at least Schager to get a chance in the system. 3 games, maybe minimum. Just because Timmy has had the chance this offseason, seen what he's done in spring practices, seen what he's done in practices leading up to this week. So if he believes he's the guy, then let him be the guy to, kind of go through this new system. There's going to be some growing pains, obviously, but I'm fine with the decision. I think Schager, he has talent. I think some of his decision making to me is the thing that will get him sometimes. But hopefully this new system, it's a little bit easier for him to operate. A little bit faster, right? So I'm looking forward to what he can do because I do think he has talent. I do think he can perform. So I'm just hoping for the best. But I just think, yeah, give him a couple games. If it's real bad, like we're scoring like less than, we're not getting 2 touchdowns on offense a game throughout the first three games. Then okay, we'll start to make changes. But I just think, yeah, the inconsistency the past couple years is what really frustrates me. Like, no one knows who the starting QB is, and that's frustrating for fans, but also the team, right? So, yeah, hoping for good things out of Mr. Schager this year.
I
Yeah,
like
and
the
Greg, I'd like to agree with you on that. It was frustrating as a fan. See, you don't know who's going to start at QB, and in Division 1 football, you need to have a set quarterback at that position, um, even to be successful. So I think Shager. I think it's Shager all the way this year. Even though he will probably have his ups and downs. I feel like Timmy will need to stick with one quarterback. Um, for the season and not go through what they went through last year with the switches.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go back to Greg's point. I like the point you said about the turnovers because that's what I want to see. I'm assuming Shager would probably be the quarterback, like you said, Hunter, the whole year. But I really want to see him cut down the turnovers because there
Yeah.
were some games last year, and I don't remember who exactly they were playing, but he did have. Wasn't there one game they had like 4 interceptions or like something kind of crazy? A lot of
Something
games
like
with
that. I think
multiple turnovers.
I think his touchdown interception ratio was 1 for 1. I think
Yeah, that's
50
not gonna
touchdowns,
cut
50
it.
picks. Yeah, that needs to be improved.
Yeah. So I want to see, I don't need to necessarily see touchdowns because, you do have Tylen Hines in the backfield. I'm a huge fan of his. So you can just give him the rock in a goal line situation or Najee Bryant delay. I like the backs. So, it's not necessarily how many touchdown passes he throws, but I want to see 0 turnovers or one at the most, throughout the games this year. So, yeah, Shager, this is the year for you. I hope because we got nobody else really. I would assume other than Joe Yellen, who's
Yeah.
third string this year. So come on, Shager, don't let us down. Don't let us down.
And the wide receivers is another question too. It's kind of something I'm looking forward to and how they'll perform. We know we got Jonah Panoke coming back as a senior, a transfer from Kansas, and Stephen McBride. Um, he's expected to be starting as well at wideout. And then I think I saw a freshman wide receiver who's listed as a starter as well. I don't remember his name. I think it's like not
Is
too
that
sure, but freshman. Says fast. I think his. Yeah, where did it go? Well, anyways,
looking at the depth chart? We have a freshman.
yeah, yeah. There's a freshman listed in the as a top. Um, and so we'll see what the wide receiver core will do. I know a lot of people are having doubts about that, but there are some speed. There's some speed. We have some seniority in Jonah Panoke and Steven. And so hopefully they can help carry the wide receiver core group. Also Kuali Ishigaya coming back from last year. I'm hoping that he has and can implement some experience with the run and shoot at St. Louis and use it now with the University of Hawaii. So looking forward to see what the group can do. I think that's another big question mark. I know, like you said, Matt, with Tylen Hines, he's a solid running back, and also I've also heard that Solovai Polu is also is taking reps at running back as well, and that's
Isn't
the
he a
center.
guard or like a
Yeah,
lineman?
the O line. I heard he's been taking reps at halfback as well. So maybe it's another Nate Ilawa or something.
That's crazy that if it's Nate
Oh my
Lowe, I
gosh.
couldn't even.
Breaking news
Yeah.
right
That's
there. I
crazy
like
though. He's
that.
he's like he's a big dude though. That's not no like that's like
Yeah.
Iosefa plus Ilala like combined right there.
Yeah. And yeah, so I was kind of shocked to see that. And yeah. maybe we might see a trick play or something from him.
Or he's gonna be like a David Farmer, just block.
Yeah,
Just a
possibly.
strictly blocking back. Okay. Well, that's a good transition actually, because I wanted to ask both of you guys, and Hunter can go first on this, but is there a breakout candidate on both sides of the ball that you're putting the spotlight on this year that you're gonna say, everybody, you should be paying attention to this guy because he's gonna have a good year this year?
I would say Tylen Hines for me. As much as I want Schager to have that, um, Tylen
Tylen.
Hines as a freshman last year really impressed. He had huge breakout runs against Michigan. I think he had like a 50-yard touchdown run. And overall, just his running yards last year, it's really impressive as a freshman. Just his burst of speed and his ability to read the gaps and the holes and just break through them, which is what really makes Thailand special. And going into his sophomore year, I'm looking forward to how he has improved over the offseason and see how his game has really evolved into a sophomore season. So yeah, I think for me it'd be Tylen Hines.
Tylen
Okay.
Hines.
Yeah,
I
I
like
mean
that one.
it's got to be Tylen Hines for me as well. Um, you know, like we lose Diedrich Parson, right? He's like was a main core guy for us for the past couple years. And you know, I think Tylen Hines he maybe is more I think he's more talented just burst wise. Like he has that like second level speed, like that second gear that he can kick into once he gets to the secondary. And Parson, he was a great running back for us. Like real consistent. You knew what you were gonna get out of him, but didn't quite have that home run threat like I think Tylen Hines has. And so yeah, you want to talk about breakout? He's RB1 now. Um, I'm looking forward to him in this offense, in that run and shoot offense as well. I think it's a perfect system for him. If we can get him, out in space up to that second level, I'm really excited. Yeah, for me it was gonna be a no brainer. I was gonna say Tylen Hines too. So yeah, really excited. Looking forward to what he's gonna bring this year. I think we're gonna see some highlights out of him for sure.
Yeah. I think that was the obvious one. So I was gonna say something else, but I think Jalen Walthall, I wouldn't sleep on him. I know he had a kind of down, didn't really have too much last year, but I saw some flashes of explosion from him. And I think the thing that bothers me with him is he can't really catch too well. So it's more like just get him the ball in space, sweeps, maybe even use him as a gadget guy. I don't think they're going to do that though. But I think he has the talent. And if he can just really just focus on catching the ball first, I think he's pretty explosive, and he can definitely counter Thailand because he's gonna draw a lot of attention this year. So Jalen Walthall, please don't let me down. I jumped off the Tylen Hines bandwagon for you, so I'm going with the wide receiver in the run and shoot. All right, let's shift to the season as a whole. So let's go through each game and we'll kind of predict a win or loss, and we'll see if Hawaii ends up going to a bowl game this year. So, all
I
right,
hope we go
so
dancing, but
I'll read off the schedule so you guys don't have to pull anything up. But let's start with Saturday. Hunter, you can answer first. At Vanderbilt, we're at 0-0. What are we going to be after week 1?
After week 0, I think we will be 0-1 at Vanderbilt. SEC opponent. I don't think it's going to be nearly a blowout from what it was last year. I think we will be competitive. I think we'll beat the spread, which is like I think 17 or 18 right now. So I'm hoping for a more competitive game, but we'll come out on the losing end.
Yeah, Hawaii is 0-1. I think we're all in consensus
yeah,
there.
we're not being Vanderbilt.
All right. Home opener against Stanford the week after.
Come on.
I think that's an L
Now
for me.
this one might be close. I don't know. Looking at Stanford, they were terrible last year.
Yeah,
We were
they
also
that good.
terrible, but Stanford is only an 8-point favorite.
What?
A touchdown favorites. Hawaii.
Wow.
First home game in the expanded stadium, 15,000 strong. I'm pulling off the upset right there. I'm picking Hawaii. Hawaii
Oh,
1-1.
okay. I am
I'm
not
not.
as
I am
optimistic as
not.
Hunter.
Yeah.
0-2.
0-2.
Yeah, I'm
God,
sorry. I know Sanford wasn't
we're
that good,
terrible.
but hey, I hope I'm wrong. I'll say that. I hope I'm wrong. All right. But yeah, I can't in good faith pick us to win. I'm sorry.
Okay, so 1-1 for Hunter. Fan Fanatic are 0-2. We got Albany the week after. I'll say we win that one. If we do, I would be very concerned. I would quit the season. Probably.
Gotta win.
Yeah, we need
against
to
Albany.
win.
Gotta win
We need
that
to win
one.
that one. But
That's
we should not take them lightly.
oh no,
Yeah.
definitely
I
not.
mean,
but
yeah,
I think Albany, it's some they're flying from that's like one
the
of the
East
longest.
Coast.
I think they said it's like one of the longest travel or commutes for any college to play this season. It's literally from one point of the country to the other point of the country. And I think the game is at midnight for them and their fans too. So it's like
Yeah.
we gotta win now. Come on.
And
They're gonna be all
we're
tired.
literally we're paying them close to $200,000 to come here. And that's their payout, I guess, payout game, whatever. We need to win.
Yeah, we better win that one.
Hmm.
Because we ain't winning the next one.
Yeah, speaking of payout games, the week after is probably the toughest game on the schedule. At Oregon, I think they lose that one to the Heisman hopeful Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
my record is at 2-2 right now.
2-2. I will say
now.
though, if they are 2-2 at that Oregon game, I will be very, very pleased and encouraged.
Oh yeah.
At
Oh,
least
yeah.
1-3,
stoked.
but 2-2, that's prime. All right, Hunter's 2-2. What are we, Greg? 1-3.
We're 1-3.
All right.
Yeah.
Next
And,
game is
I mean,
New Mexico State.
Yeah, Matt, real quick, that Oregon game, it's just
is that
gonna
a road
be
game?
like Bo
No.
Nix's Heisman highlight campaign reel. I think that's what it's gonna be. So yeah, like when they show all the highlights for his Heisman, plays and stuff, it's just gonna be the Hawaii game, I think. So
Well,
yeah.
that's all going to be what in the first half.
Yeah, 5 touchdowns or something in the first half. But sorry, yeah, you can move on. I just think that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, he might be my Heisman pick this year, but we'll get into that later. All right, New Mexico State at home. I say win.
I think we need to win that one too.
I think we
That's
win.
a winnable game.
Okay, we win that one at
Yep, that's a
UNLV. That's a toss-up because they play each other tough now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go loss because it's on the road. Hawaii doesn't play well on the road, but it is a toss-up.
You know what? I say they win this one. I'm feeling the win. Ninth Island.
I think I'm feeling a win too. I'm feeling a win as well. What is my record right now? 3-3?
You're 4. Yeah, you're 3-3.
4-3?
No, yeah, Hunter's 3-3. Greg is. What are you?
I'm gonna be. I'll be. No. After
4.
the UNLV game, it'll be 3. So then Hunter will have 4 wins.
Oh yeah, Hunter's 4.
Yeah, and I'll have 3 wins. 3-3.
I have
3-3.
All right, so I'm at 2, 4-3-2. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, San Diego State at home. I think that's a loss.
I think that's a loss.
San Diego State is tough.
I think that's a loss as well.
And
Right.
they're salty about the last time they were here too. So
Oh yeah. Okay, that's a consensus loss at New Mexico. I say they win this one. I think they can win against New Mexico on the road.
It's a winnable game.
I think that's a win.
Okay, so
Yeah.
well, it looks like Hunter has UH going bowling since they only need one more win. Now the 2/3 of the way to the season.
Hey, you heard it right here on the podcast.
Hawaii is going bowling according to Hunter. Oh, this is a good one. San Jose at home, the homecoming for Mr.
Goodness.
Cordero. I think they lose. Trevin's coming back with a tough mindset.
Yeah, I think they're
that's
gonna lose that one.
That's a loss.
That's a loss. All right, so at Nevada, that's a toss-up one for me. They're not the same dominant Wolfpack as before. Ooh. They're on the road, so I'm going to say they lose. But if it was at home, I would say they win. So I'm going to say
I agree.
road game.
Even though Nevada is the weaker team, it's on the road, and yeah, I'll see a
Reno's
loss.
tough. Yeah, tough to play in Reno.
I actually
too.
think they win that one. I think they win. I think they beat Nevada.
Hey,
Oh,
I think they win. I think that one they win. So I'll be at 5 wins for that. Yeah,
okay, so
that,
I'm still at 3, which doesn't look very good right now. And then they come home to play Air Force. Air Force has been pretty good these past couple of years.
That's a loss.
That's a loss.
That's a loss. Yeah,
I think
I
that's
agree.
Loss.
I agree. All right, last road game at Wyoming.
That's a loss too.
That's
shot they play in the cold. Wyoming in November. That's just come on, man.
A tough one.
Yeah, I think that's a loss there. All right. Last game, senior night at Colorado State comes home. I say they win. I say they win.
That's a win.
They send the seniors out.
I think
properly.
That's a win. That's a win. And for me, on my season, they clinch.
The bowl
game?
Clinch
a bowl game on the last game. I think that's what's gonna happen. I'm feeling it.
Greg and I have Hawaii going bowling this year.
6 and
7. 6 and 7.
6 and 7.
I feel terrible. I got 4 and 9.
That could happen.
I got 4 and 9.
Put me down to 6 and 7. I believe.
All right, 2 6 and 7s. Okay, so the odds are that they're gonna go bowling at least. So we'll leave it at that.
I think they start slow, but they finish stronger. I think that's what's gonna happen. 1 and 3 to 6 and 7. I could see that.
Ooh, all right, that's tough. I think, I don't know. They're pretty consistent, but I just want to see some explosion on offense. I just want to see excitement because we haven't had that in a while. Maybe you could say with McDonald, Rolovich, but I would even go farther back and say Moniz. That was probably the last time I was like, yeah, this offense is going to put up 35 easily. So maybe we can get to like 25. That would be a good starting point.
Hopefully with the offense, they can surprise some teams and pull off some wins that we may not have thought they would have won that game. So we'll see. Hopefully it's a good surprise.
Yeah. All right. So let's end our UH football segment discussion with a game. So we talked about this in the pre-meeting, but I know Hunter hasn't definitely seen this. Greg, I don't think you did see it because you were on vacation this weekend, but put together a little board. So let's say we all have $12. The goal is to build out your UH offense. So obviously $5 being the best, $1 being the quote unquote worst. And we got to pick a quarterback, a running back, a receiver, and a coach. Now, this is for UH all time. Hunter, you go first since you are the guest. You got $12.
Try to zoom out a little bit.
You got $12.
Okay.
And then can you move it? Wait. Hold on. Oh, okay, there we go. I'm good. Oh, this is
$12, yeah?
$12.
Okay. I mean, we gotta go with Cole Brennan. I'm taking my $5 with Cole Brennan. Probably one of the greatest quarterbacks at University of Hawaii, so I need him on my team. So that's $5. At running back, I liked Alex Green. He was a dirty runner, but he was a big guy. But he put off some big runs as well. So I'll take Alex Green. So that's $2.
That's
That's
seven.
$7.
You got
Okay.
$5 to work with.
Oh, now this is gonna be a tough one. The wide receiver. Oh,
These are some great receivers, though. I mean,
A wide receiver,
I want to
UH.
take Greg Salas.
Greg
I'll take Greg
Salas.
Salas on that one. Greg Salas was so I left with $2, right? So that's Nick Rolovich.
Rolo.
okay. Hey, that's not bad.
That's my team. Kind of controversial at the end with COVID at Wazoo, but it's okay.
Hey, that was after UH, though. After UH.
That's
That was
true. After
So,
UH.
Yeah, that's my team.
Ooh, Alex
all
Green.
right.
That's a good one.
Okay. $12, right, Matt? You said?
$12.
Okay. I'm gonna go coach first. So
Okay.
I'm gonna take I think coach matters here. So I go June Jones first. That's my $5. All right. I'm going June Jones. Then quarterback. Oh, this is tough. Because if I already can't get Colt, it's gonna be tough after that. So ooh. You know what? I know what running back I want here. I definitely want Nate. I'm going Nate. So that's $8,
Ooh,
right?
Nate. Yep. Got
I got a
$4
little bit of
now.
wiggle room. $4. Okay. Then I'm gonna go. Ooh, I'm gonna go Brian Moniz as my QB. The dollar. That's a value at $1, by the way.
It
And
is.
then, so I have $3 left. Ooh, this is so tough. I gotta go with Greg Salas because I'm biased, and I mean same name, and just I got to watch him in person, so it's like win-win. So yeah, June Jones, Moniz, Nate, and Greg Salas. Yeah, that's dope. Give me that one.
Okay. Okay. Wow, I wasn't expecting the Moniz. I thought you would be a little high on the quarterback. But okay.
Hey, Brian wasn't electric, except for that
Hey,
last bowl game.
Moniz.
Except for that last bowl game. Come
Yeah.
on, still, I ain't gonna say whatever happened, but that one, that was not a good game. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, Moniz definitely one of my favorite quarterbacks at UH for sure.
So what's your team, Matt?
Let's
What's your
see. What I'm looking at it right now. I would probably go. I'll go Colt. Gotta go Colt Brennan at quarterback. Running back. Yeah, I gotta go Alex Green too. I think the value there. Alex Green, one of the toughest runners in UH history, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So is that 7? I got $5 to work with. Wide receiver. This is the this is a tough one. I'm gonna go Devon. I'm going Devon Bess.
Devon.
Oh
Devon
wow.
Bess.
I even feel
The
like Ashley Lee is a steal too at
Ashley
QB.
Yeah,
Malia
I
too
mean
is
he
a
was an
First
NFL
round pick.
player.
First round pick
Yeah,
too in the NFL.
yeah,
highest UH football draft pick too,
Yeah.
right.
probably ever. So
Yeah, but I gotta
you're
go
telling
with
me
the.
you're going?
I'm going with Devon, man. Devon at UH with Colt. That chemistry. You can't break that up.
So your coach is
And
Mac.
then yes, and here's why. Here's why. So obviously I can't pick June Jones, but I want someone that has the same philosophy as him. And McMacken was under Jones. So I'm going with value there. And he's an offensive minded coach. So
Hey,
that's why I'm going with McMacken.
not many
I'm not
coaches will
gonna
call 2 timeouts to go lecture your team.
I
So
I'm
I
not gonna
remember that.
mention anything off the field. This is strictly between the lines. So I got McMacken with my value pick.
hey, you know, 2 timeouts worth.
Oh boy. Hey, Colt and Devon, man, that's the best duo in UH Maybe
true.
Moniz and Salads. I don't know. That's debatable.
Nah, no. Devon and Colt, come on. That's got to be number one.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a fun UH talk and a good prep for Saturday. So I can't really say I'm confident because I said 4 wins, but I'm excited and encouraged for the year 2 season for Timmy Chang this year. But that wraps up our episode this week. As usual, in traditional Fan and Fanatic fashion, our sports fact of the day is recording on August 21st. So we'll go to 2016, back in the Olympics, when the U.S. won the gold medal in basketball in the Rio Olympics, thanks to Kevin Durant dropping 30 points before he later joined the Golden State Warriors that year and won 2 straight titles and forever cemented his legacy as one of the best scorers in the NBA. So, KD, congratulations. You are the sports fact man of the day for us. But I was trying to look for a funny one because the last time we had Hunter on, we had the Magic Johnson one, but there wasn't anything this week.
You always pull out some of the. You know what? That's you. That's all you.
Yeah,
Fanatic.
I know. But, we're coming up on time. So thank you, Hunter, again for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks, Hunter.
We're gonna check back in with you maybe mid-season at the end of the season. But thanks definitely again for coming on.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you guys next week.
Oh, yeah. Go Bows.
Go Bulls.
Go Bows.